Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I'm David Rhodes, and we got my man Jeff Johnson here. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. It's Founders Day for the 06 brothers.
Shout out to all the Code Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Today is their Founders Day. So if you see a lot of black and gold on timelines today, you know why.
You see a ton of ice cubes, you know why.
A lot of ice cubes, you'll know why. All right, so let's how's things, man, before I run through the intro. How's things, man? How's everything going?
Oh, everything's great, man. Thanksgiving break, I was in Atlanta and had 34 relatives show up at my father's house. And when I say it was a party. So blessed.
Yeah, I mean, but we saw coaches get fired during NFL as well. We ain't even man.
Yep. They fire folks over the holiday. That's how gangster this business is, man.
Look, man. Football's ruthless. Football is a ruthless business,
and it's gotten ruthless at the HBCU level too, man. So, woo.
We're definitely going to get into that. So let's get it going. Welcome to episode 593 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Radio Show and Podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to NCAA. We share insights on information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU's athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, with my partner, Jeff Johnson. Brandon King should be making an appearance as well. We are filming live from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper and the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Listen, man. All right, so our football seasons are over.
Yes.
From a playing standpoint. Brandon King's is not. So when Brandon comes, we'll try to talk about Tennessee State and Montana then.
Sure.
But in the meantime, there's been a lot of things that's been going on. There's been a lot of coaches that's been let go.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, is there any other news that you want to talk about before we get into what's been going on in these HBCU coaching streets?
We can just talk about the Hampton Aggie basketball game that was last night.
Do we really want to talk about that?
I mean, if y'all would have won, you would have wanted to talk about it. Fair?
No, it's fair. That's very fair.
All right. All right. So I'll just say this. Hampton won 82-71 at the Convocation Center. It was Greek night for us, and I'm gonna be honest. I felt like we're a young team, but we were not expecting this.
I wasn't either. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't either.
Yeah, you guys had us up at the half by 8. And then we scored 48 second half points, and I'm just like, man. I mean, go ahead.
There's two things that I'm concerned with this roster, with this team, with A&T team right now on the men's side.
Sure.
They tend to start strong in the first half.
Yeah.
But then they start making careless turnovers. They're not good at shooting at the line.
Yeah. And
then they start getting sloppy defensively.
Yeah.
And all three of those things made an appearance yesterday when we played.
Absolutely.
And I think we had a control of the game. Like, there were games that we probably could have lost, like when we played Morgan. Similar things happened. Mm-hmm. Got sloppy defensively, turnovers, can't make your free throws. Like, you got to learn how to close it out. And last night also showed that we miss Felton. Mm-hmm. Felton got hurt a few games ago, and I don't know. I think long term he might be out for a decent period of time. Not sure if he's out for the year or not. Mm-hmm. But he's had such terrible luck. He's gotten pretty much hurt every year since he's been here at A&T. So he's had some Will Phillips has some tough luck from that standpoint, but we need that size.
Yeah.
But that being said, we have to learn how to close out games. We tend to get more sloppy and make bad shot decisions when we and I'm going to get Big Reek in here because I know he wants to talk about this basketball game too. I can get outnumbered, man. It's fine.
Okay, all right, hold on. I'm gonna say this, and to your credit, if Joyner was coaching this team and you guys had an 8-point lead at halftime, it probably would have doubled to maybe 16 or 20 or 24. That's not a shot at Coach Joyner, but it's a new sheriff in town, and I like what Thomas is doing early. At first, we were a little bit skeptical of having way too many guards on his roster, but what he did, he actually hits you with different angles. So George Beal Jr. last night had 25 points. Tyler Rice, another guy that we were somewhat kind of knowledgeable about, had 17. And Noel Farrakhan, had actually with 11 points, who's been the breadwinner for the team for the past few games. So, this we have a lot of we're switchblade, so we can hit you in quite a few different ways.
Yeah, man, it's
Yep. Our guards are pretty good.
What did you say, Reek?
I was saying, I look like I'm on a delay a little bit, but our guards are pretty good.
Yeah, like it's funny because A&T's got some pretty good guards too. I think the biggest concern about both of our teams in the CAA is dealing with the size of the other positions. But I just felt like last night when I was watching that game, it was like we had the 8-point lead, and I've watched enough A&T basketball so far to see how things are going. And the thing is, this was a conference game, so I really wanted us to get this one. So now we're 0-1 in the conference because we're the only ones that played a conference game because we open conference play.
Why do we got to open it, though?
I mean, of course, look, man, they're going to go with their marquee game. You know that. It's a big rivalry. I mean, it's a marquee game for that conference. They just like we're playing on MLK weekend.
That's true. That's true. But hold on. I mean, they understand it was in December and it's cold. Negroes don't go to the games in the cold. So
the Pirates supposed to support their squad, man. That's why I was glad it was there. But I mean, we got some big marquee matchups during this time period too. Yeah, we're playing the school down the road December 28th.
Well, LaVelle, I mean, I don't know what's happening to him, man. That program felt but that should be a very easy win for you. I won't never call anything easy.
On the men's side? No, I'm not going to say that yet.
No. It's going to be because it's a rivalry game, but it should be a manageable game. I will say that.
I mean, I don't like those guys down in Durham, but like that, they got a pretty good coach in Moulton. I respect the head coach.
We also got to add in the Lady Pirates beating Power 4 program.
Yeah, shout out to them for beating Georgia at the buzzer.
Yes. Like that was a shot.
Shout out to Liv. Liv put y'all in her top 5. She does a Power 5. Yeah, she put y'all in the top 5, and that was warranted. Some folks felt the way because there was no swag teams in the top 5. But those are the breaks sometimes, man. But shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Lady Pirates, man, for getting it done against Georgia.
Coach Augustine, boy, when I say so, that shows you the quality of coaching. So we've swore by that. Pirate Faithful has sworn by 6 and Joyner for years, but it's like the voice is everybody got used to what they were doing. So thank you for AD Henderson for bringing in really good coaches, and shout out to the ones who have left. Thank you for what you have done, but we appreciate what these guys are doing now.
Absolutely. Rick, you got any thoughts on that game? That was a big one, man.
Huge.
Yeah, that was a big one. I'm a little delayed, so something's wrong.
When we go to break, you can probably make your exit and come back in when we go to break. That's not a problem.
The coaches are in some new folks. Yeah, the coaches have brought in some new folks, and it's just been a breath of fresh air. So they play differently. If you watch, like Kyrie's Mullen, he's really struggling with this new team.
Yeah. He ain't shooting threes no more.
No, it's you got to move in this new offense. Joyner's was a little bit stale. It was like ISO heavy, but this offense you got to move, you got to run around. And
that's like baby Davis shooting threes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, they're better. They're better. They're playing better than I thought. I didn't know how effective the guards would be, but the guards they were really good. So they control everything for us right now. So it's good to see.
Ooh, the chat.
It's 7. It might be 8. I gotta double check.
Who's gone? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna go to break, and when we come back, I know we're gonna focus on the coach in my institution that was officially let go today, and I might give you a little bit some insights about what's been going on because I heard about it last week. So okay. So we'll come back after the break. We'll go over some of the coaches that were let go. I mean, we'll probably go through all of them if we got time. We'll see. There's so many. There's a lot of them. I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss one. But when we come back, we're going to primarily focus on what happened with the A&T coach, but then we'll go through some of the other ones as well. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the Indy Report.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
HBCU football fans, this year's Cricket Celebration Bowl has a new date. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 14th as the MEAC and SWAC champions meet once again. Join us in Atlanta for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna love, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let me tell y'all something, man. It's been a bonanza of coaches that got let go over the last few days. Some warranted, some questionable. They let Shaw just let go of their coach. We got Mississippi Valley let go of Kendrick Wade, which I absolutely disagree with that decision.
I don't know why. I totally agree with that. It's like, what do they expect? I mean, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, how'd y'all audio read?
I think I'm back. How do I sound?
Oh yeah, you sound great, and you're not delayed. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, so I was not like, I think Kendrick Wade getting let go is kind of wild because of, like you said, what do they expect? What's the expectations? Like, you're talking about a school that we know that has limited resources and things of that sort. Yeah. It's just, that's a rough spot. And I think, that might have everything to do with everything else. I believe that AD left recently as well. Yeah. They went, if I recall, he went to Jackson State. Yeah. And that AD was doing some really good things too at the time when he was there. Yeah. Another coach that got let go, Bubba McDowell got let go from Prairie View. I don't get that one either. Yeah, that was another one. But some folks have been discussing about the fact that their patience is kind of gone when it comes to some of these coaches. And he was a casualty of that. Another coach that was let go, Connor Maynard. But I think Some folks probably weren't as shocked about that. Some folks did feel like he was going to be able to finish and get his last year of his deal. He only had 1 year left on his deal. So Connor Maynard's out at Alabama A&M. Let me see. Who else did I do?
Lee Hall at Delaware State.
Oh, Lee Hall at Delaware State. A lot of folks weren't shocked by that.
Yeah.
But then you question why they made the decision to get rid of Milstead at the time.
Exactly.
So that was another situation where it was kind of shocking that occurred.
Big Worm over at Norfolk State.
Not shocked by that. You know, I've heard rumblings that Michael Vick might be going there, man, and I'm kind of like, that would change.
We talked about that last week, and I've heard from, 2 other sources saying that there's definite interest.
Yeah, so if they get the job done, it'll make the MEAC interesting, and I think more people will be watching that conference than before.
Yeah, I will say this:
his wife is a pirate.
Yeah, his wife's a pirate. Yeah, he spends more time on Hampton's campus than Norfolk State's campus.
But you already got a coach.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
No. He could go coach there. He Newport News.
I think he would change the recruiting profile for Norfolk State, because I know, like, when you talk about you don't think so?
I think he would. I think that would be.
He's not.
I think he would.
That'd be a real good hire, man.
And truth be told, and nobody discussed this enough. Like, Norfolk State is a coaching wasteland.
It is. It's the
Arizona, five winning records since they've gone Division I.
It's the Jacksonville Jaguars of HBCU.
But even they went to an AFC Championship game, and they've done it twice.
Yeah, and Norfolk State won the MEAC once.
Yeah, they went to the
that was vacated.
Thank you. So wasteland, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, how can they get it done in basketball? That's what I want to know.
Oh, because it's a basketball. It's a
basketball school. Yeah,
whenever we tell them that, when we say that, they get in touch. I'm like, but that's what y'all are, and it's fine. Y'all got a phenomenal women's program and a men's program there. Yeah, like, it's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When's the last time you guys been to Delaware State's football stadium?
I've seen the outside of it. I've seen the outside of it, because I pulled up to the campus last year when I was going to the CIAA tournament, because my daughter wanted to check out the campus.
It's been 25 years for me. 25.
And you know what? It still looks the same from 25 years ago.
Except the
scoreboard and they got nice church. But it's a terrible. What do you? It's hard to. The guy. I guess when you fire a coach, something I was thinking about, the AD gets a little bit more time too, right?
Somebody made a comment, and it was kind of eye-opening when they made the comment. They said that there were more people at the volleyball game.
Yeah.
For the MEAC championship, which Delaware State did win.
Yeah.
And shout out to them again. Than the football game.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you look at that stadium, they have certain parts of the stands that are at least 10 feet below the other part of the stands.
But they got a good weight room, though.
They do.
What's that gonna do?
That matters. Speaking of
those uniforms, nice. But if you're playing at a Pop Warner Kids Stadium, you look.
But if the weight room, right, if you got get a good strength and conditioning coach, you got all the resources for that. That's a good first step, particularly not just for football, for all the sports.
If they got a good stadium, they would be really good. I would definitely agree with that. But
now I'm trying to think: is there anybody else that we forgot other than the person y'all really want to talk about? What happened with Brown?
You're trying to be positive. I had to watch. Yeah, okay.
I think that Shaw firing was interesting, because he actually had a decent season. The only reason why I have any idea about that is because sometimes that stadium is 10 minutes from the house. So if I don't have anything to do, I'll just go watch them play. And they were really excited about them this year, and they were competitive. So
now all of these firings, is this something? This is not the SEC where they can just pay people out. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you know what I've noticed?
What?
A lot more schools are willing to. Like, Norfolk State is probably is paying out Odom.
Well, it's probably because of Mike. Hey.
Yeah, but all right. What about us? Coach Brown had 4 years left on his deal.
Ooh.
Okay, so if A&T is too big to have a program in that shape, you're too good of a program to have that. I mean, and so now we can segue over into A&T since we're here. All right, now since since he is walking out the door, can we go back to what we said? This is Fobbs 2.0. I mean, is this?
Fobbs didn't win a game here. Game at A&T.
Say what?
Fobbs didn't win a game at A&T.
Okay, so this
but that would definitely be the comparison. He didn't win.
It's very close.
He went 2-21 in 2 years. He won one Division I game the entire time that he was here.
Yes.
He was on. If he would have came back for the third season, he was on pace to break Fobbs' losing streak record for against Division I opponents.
Yes.
Now the big thing for me, and it's always been this, is about progression.
Yeah.
And the big key was there wasn't any.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I said this on this show, but I definitely said this on a few shows last week. When you look at prior to senior day, before we played Elon, our average loss margin was 37 points at home.
Jeez.
Over 30. And even if you include Elon, it was still over 30 points. So imagine you're like, and the thing is, A&T was still in the top 20 in attendance this year.
Yeah.
From an FCS standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's with the fact that only 3,000 people showed up at the last game.
Yeah.
Because it was even though it was senior day, the team was so bad.
It was waning.
Yeah, nobody was going to take their time. And I talked to a lot of folks who normally go to all the home games, and some of them made the decision to go shopping or do something else with their time because of how bad the team was. And I'm not trying to like I don't want to beat up on the student athletes, because I think they tried everything they could. They gave the effort, but it's about coaching too. Yeah. And let me be clear when I say this. Vincent Brown is a nice guy, man. He's a great guy. As a person, great guy. There's no very professional, always has been professional from that standpoint. But I just think maybe it might have been a situation where maybe he's better to be a coordinator, maybe not a head coach.
Absolutely. I don't know. I totally agree. But go ahead and finish.
But I think when you go things happen. I think from what I've understand, this has been in the works since Jiho.
Oh, yeah. I can see that, but I'll also say this though, is that I felt that Vincent Brown did not coach the scheme never fit the players that were on the field, and he had this. I would say, this is my scheme, and you're just going to play it the way that I want.
And here's my response to you. I don't think it was his scheme. And the reason why I say that
defense?
No, I'm going to tell you why I say that.
Go ahead.
There was an interview with the defensive coordinator. We call him Jay-Z, Josh Zeidenberg. And he said that Coach Brown pretty much lets him do whatever he wants from a scheme standpoint.
That is the problem.
And that was my first concern, right? Because we brought him in because of what he did at William & Mary, right?
Oh, that's horrible.
So for me, and I understand being the CEO and you delegate your stuff, but I think when your side of the ball needs to be the strongest. And last year it was, but we had an historically bad offense last year.
Yeah.
So last year it was. This year not so much. And so when you take all those things into account, it's something had to give. And I think it would have been very difficult to warrant a third season with him.
Yeah.
Considering what we saw, considering what the first month is going to look like. You know, we played Tennessee State, Furman, UCF. It's Tennessee State, UCF, Furman, and the school down the road. Those are our first four games.
Now, if he would have been building towards bringing in players that fit the mold to actually compete against those type of programs, and that would have been a great schedule to test what you brought in. But unfortunately, he did not.
Well, it's a lot of things too, right? Like in his defense with regards to that, he didn't pick we've got games in through 2031. Like we've been scheduling out of conference for a while now, right? Yeah. Even before we got into the CAA, we've been expanding our contracts with different schools and things of that sort. Like we're playing Princeton in 2031. We're playing Georgia in 2030 or something like that. Yeah, I think folks. Man, I'm hoping that they back out of that one, and they might by the time it happens there.
Yeah.
But
hold on, we got that guy Stan Howard doesn't care about sports and lay off for NSU. No, I'm not laying off for NSU.
Howard has been caring about sports more than folks realize nowadays.
They care. They only say that when they lose. When they lose, they say they don't care. But when they win, they say, "Oh, we're turning the corner."
They've been dominating the MEAC athletically since everybody left the conference. Since A&T and Florida schools, they've been.
I totally disagree with that.
Yeah. So, but overall, man, I think a lot of folks was asking for this to occur.
Yeah.
They got what they want. There's already talks about who's the next guy going to be.
Is it Gibbs?
It's looking like it's going to be Gibbs, man. I'll be shocked if it's not.
That kind of reminds me of the Dooley hire over at Southern. It's like it was an open secret. Dooley was coming back to Southern.
Where's Gibbs coach at now?
Fort Valley State.
Fort Valley.
I don't like it.
And what is Fort Valley right now?
I don't like it.
I'm going to tell you. Let me pick game.
No, I already can tell you because my dad's an SIAC guy.
He was the final. From what I understand, he was the finalist. He was one of the finalists for the last time they got the job. So
look, stop listening to the Aggie Pride faithful.
But I always say this, and here's my thing. I don't have an issue with the Gibbs hire if that's the direction they decide to go. I don't. Okay. And the part of the reason why I don't is because I think there's a culture that was instilled before they swapped conferences.
Yeah,
where they're going to try to get that back, and I think Gibbs has shown that he can he has the ability to be a head coach, and I think he can do the job. I'm not mad at the hire at all. I don't have an issue with the hire one bit.
Hire, or you mean
interest? The potential hire? It's pretty. I mean, it's the
yeah.
You want to talk about an open secret, right?
Yeah.
So it's I'll be stunned if it ain't him. I'll leave it at that. I'll be stunned if it ain't him.
Yeah.
Now, if for some scenario, if it's not him, we need to go out to Tremaine Jackson, right?
Well, let's look at where A&T is, and the football they're playing now, the brand of football they need to play.
Yeah.
And what from Gibbs? I'm just playing devil's advocate. What from his resume makes you believe that he's a fit for?
Thank you.
Where A&T is now?
Well, Gibbs was there during the Celebration Bowl run, right? So Gibbs understands the success during why we were beating the FBS programs, while we were beating Appalachian State when they were ranked in the top 25, while we were beating Jacksonville State when they were ranked in the top 25 in FCS. He was there during that run. He was the running backs coach there during that run. So he spawned a plethora of NFL running backs. Emmanuel Wilson, who's currently in the league right now, that plays for Green Bay. He played for Fort Valley State, Tariq Cohen. So he's done a pretty good job when it comes to getting from the running back play from that standpoint. So he knows how to. It's not a slip of the tongue, man. It's pretty much an unknown. It's pretty much an open secret at this rate.
Yeah, I would just A&T y'all do what y'all do, man. But this is a unique opportunity to really shake the bushes, man. I mean, you can.
Thank you.
You guys can get. This is a really hot job, even though Brown wasn't a good fit there, but this is a really good job, and I mean that's your guy. I understand, but shake the trees, shake the bushes.
I look. I'm not the AD. I don't make that call. I just from what I've been told, it's pretty much a done. It's almost a done deal at this point.
I'm sure another magical Negro would jump out if y'all like a Mike Vick or something. But
I don't know if we'll ever go to celebrity hire route.
And for that guy who said I'm talking about NSU, Hampton is too good for celebrity coaches. So.
I mean, because the thing about the celebrity coaches is it's about bringing the eyeballs and the resources. I don't think A&T has an issue with eyeballs.
No, you don't. No, and you don't.
Like we were the most covered one-win team in America last year,
and that's what made the light even more brighter for Brown. I just don't think that he just was ready for all that.
I think when you talk about I agree. I think he did not know everything.
He thought he was going.
I don't think he knew everything.
Fairfield State or something, man.
No, I think he just. I think. He was the defensive coordinator for Howard when they had Keelan Newton.
Oh,
and so he was like that was his HBCU coaching, right?
Yeah.
So when you make the comparison about being the head coach at Howard versus being the head coach at A&T.
Yeah.
Where in Howard, now they're serious about winning more than they have. Well, if they're serious about trying to win. Back then, not so much.
True.
And then you go to A&T where there's an expectation.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got to deal with the obstacles that a lot of folks didn't agree with the decision to let Washington go at the time. So you're already fighting an uphill battle from the gate. Yeah. And I think he was as admirable as possible from that regard. And so for me, I just think it was a lot for him. And I think there were times where he didn't realize what was important. Yeah. Like beating the school down the road is important.
Yeah.
So getting blown out was important. Yeah. Yet, all due respect to William and Mary, they ain't us.
Yeah.
They ain't us.
And he
like
coached
that.
He coached with Mike London too. So
and that's not to say that they don't have a good program at William and Mary, but from the standpoint of what the expectations are, they ain't us. And William and Mary, and let's remember, Mike London's an alumnus of William and Mary. That's part of the reason why he left Howard to go to William and Mary. He left Howard to go back to his alma mater.
With the quickness.
Yeah. And I don't blame him. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You know what I think killed Brown more than anything is he couldn't recruit.
No. Could not recruit.
There were some kids that he got that were pretty good.
Who?
I thought BJ Turner, when we grabbed him, he was really good, but he got hurt.
Yes, exactly.
And there's other questions regarding that, like, right? Because there was so many injuries this year.
So many injuries, and
so many injuries, and some of that's going to be on strength and conditioning, right?
He never recruited a defensive line too.
Oh God.
That's what I'm saying. He couldn't recruit.
You cannot have 250-pound linemen at nose. It's not going to work. 260.
Or if you're going to do it, then decide not to play a 3-4.
Thank you.
But that's a whole different discussion.
We got to talk about Maynard too.
So are people happy, Dave? Like,
they're thrilled.
Nobody's like, hey, we should give him another year because
there's only one guy I know that wanted to give him 2 more years, and I had to shut him down last week on another show.
Give that man 2 more years, man.
Yeah, I mean,
bro,
I saw the Aggies fans being more patient than I ever thought they would be. It was like, it was because
the thing is, there's other things within the program that I'm not going to discuss here, obviously, right? Like, but I have said in the past when it came to the decision to let Washington go, it wasn't about wins and losses. It wasn't. And so whenever I say that, folks look at me like I'm crazy, but you got to read between the lines when I say things like that, right? It wasn't about wins and losses when they made that decision. And then when they decided to go away from the Broadway tree, part of that might have been.
You saw what happened.
Shake the bushes, A&T. That's all I got to say.
Where will Connell Maynard land?
I mean, I think where would Connell Maynard land?
He ain't no head coach no more.
Nah, but if I was Grambling, I would call him to be the OC. I would call Maynard to be the OC in a New York second.
All day.
Do you trust him to work for you?
No.
Sure. Truth be told, truth be told, man, like if you decide, if you need an offense, like if, for example, right, if they would have kept Brown at A&T, I would have been pushing to bring him over to be our OC. And we would have paid him pretty well. We paid our OC pretty well.
I mean, just from an X and O standpoint, I mean,
all day.
I said this at Hampton. Maynard was one of the best game planners and offensive coordinators I've ever seen.
Yes.
He put together some of the best game
plans,
but that was it.
But that's the thing, right? And that's why, like, if you need an OC,
keep him on the sideline, give him a year-to-year contract because he will be out recruiting, talking about, I'm trying to get into the ACC one day. I ain't gonna be here long. But
man. You don't want that man working for you, man.
Multiple times telling kids, like, look, man, I'm be honest with you, I'm gonna be here, but if so-and-so coming, I'm out. So
I mean, you can't be mad at him being real with the kids, but at the same time, at the same time, though, like I think Maynard's going to be. I think somebody should bring him in as an OC. Yeah. Folks are talking about head coach. I don't think him going back to Winston again is wise. Like I just
he might because it creates come back home.
No,
y'all too good for that, man.
Why?
No,
y'all do not want that circus at A&T, man.
It's not even that because some people have asked about Maynard, but I said if you telling me between him and Gibbs, I'm taking Gibbs 10 out of 10 times.
Well, I'm just saying there's OC, like
Gibbs OC.
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work with Gibbs, but I could be wrong. I don't know if that will
Gibbs seems like he's kind of like more conservative when it comes to the offense.
Oh, he's run first. He's run first all day,
which is a bad thing. That's an Earl Holmes tactic, man. So I don't get that grounded pass.
But the thing about us was that we had decent quarterback play during that Celebration Bowl run as well. We had some pretty good quarterbacks while we were during that run.
Okay.
So he can make it happen. I'm not worried about that. Like I know that, but I think. And I'm not worried about him not having the ability to go get trench play. I'm not worried about that with him. I'm not worried about that. So those are the things I was concerned about with the previous coach.
Okay, but his ability he was competitive in the SIC, but did he win it?
Yeah, but we're talking Fort Valley versus A&T. He's going to get a different set of resources than A&T. I think he can coach.
Is he going to get CAA resources?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to get CAA players. I'm not worried about that, man.
No, and from resources like all the wraparound stuff, like.
Well, we've been doing certain things when Brown was here, so I'm gonna assume that they're gonna still push forward in that while they're in the conference. Like they're gonna be in the C. They want to compete. They're gonna have to.
Recruiting in the SIC is totally different from the CAA. Totally.
I know, but you know what? I still think that if you can coach, you can coach. If you can coach, you can coach, right? And the biggest difference between Gibbs coming in and Brown is that Gibbs has been a head coach before.
Yeah, okay.
That matters, and we just saw why it matters.
Yeah,
because I will say, like, I know the typical path is to go from coordinator to head coach, but sometimes everybody that's a coordinator isn't a head coach, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So Spencer says a new coach will demand at least what Brown got.
I disagree.
Nah, no. He'll be like, we paid that before. What you like? Yeah,
I disagree.
No. Yeah, we're not getting that. You getting it.
Nah, I disagree. I don't think we're gonna have to pay him what Brown got.
Like, what you gonna do? Go back to Fort Valley? Go. You'll be all right.
Yeah, but you can't. You gotta pay him his market value.
Yeah, we'll pay you market value.
Oh no, he's gonna. No, I think we're gonna take care of him. But I don't. But the question, like, look, man.
Hometown discount too.
Kennesaw State just let go of their coach and they just hired Jerry Mack.
Wow.
Oh, for real.
But here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Kennesaw State at the time, their previous head coach made less than what Brown made.
Yeah.
So, like, and they're paying him, and they're paying Mack way more than that. And for those who don't know, Jerry Mack was a former head coach of that school down the road when they went to their first Celebration Bowl and lost to Grambling. But he ended up going to Tennessee, and then he ended up heading to the NFL, and now he's back in college sports. So good for him. I'm happy for him because that was the goal.
Happy for him, but I just don't see that working.
I think everybody's asking this question, and I think for me, folks got to realize he was on that staff when we were beating when we're beating the top 25 FCF programs. So I'm not concerned from that standpoint of being I get paid to win SWAC games or I get paid to win CAA games.
From a Hampton perspective, if Gibbs gets back with A&T, I'm definitely nervous because we don't have a pushover anymore. So
no, here you go.
Guess what? That move doesn't scare me.
Okay, they're not pushovers, but it doesn't scare me either because
how do we know?
He came from Fort Valley State. They were competitive there. So,
I get we're gonna bring the Fort Valley up. I'm not worried about that. I'm more intrigued about it. I'm more happy that he's been our head coach. Just like if we would have picked up the guy from Valdosta State, like if we would have, if Tremaine Jackson.
Yeah.
Are y'all going to give that? You would be concerned too, right? You wouldn't be like, oh well.
Yeah.
If you can coach, you can coach, man. Yeah. And Valdosta State is a primary run first squad as well.
Yeah. No. Okay. But yeah.
I'm happy that y'all are happy. That's all.
That's
good.
We're ecstatic. Like I'm not as picky as others. So like for me, like I said, I would have perfect world. Probably would have slid in, give Tremaine a call, but I'm not mad at the Gibbs hire. Like I'm not going to complain about the Gibbs hire. Now, it'll get fascinating on how the fan base reacts if things go sideways. But I don't know if it'll get as sideways as this. Even when Rob Broadway took over, he took over a 1-10 program, and he won 5 games with those guys.
Yeah.
So if you can coach, you can coach.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can coach. And the CEA schedule is has to be easier than last year.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to play Delaware and Richmond next year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
That alone is going to make the schedule easier.
That's true.
We had the 7th hardest schedule in FCS last year.
Yeah.
So it's not like so we had a very, very, very tough schedule.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's some level of progression that needs to be seen.
Is there any problem with that firing happening on signing day?
Ooh.
Truth be told, there weren't really too many people that were coming anyway.
So he wasn't even recruiting anyway.
Yeah, man. That was the problem.
It was going to be tough. It was going to be tough either way.
So was he even coming into the office?
Yeah.
For what?
Hey, you got to check in. You can't give him cause, man. You got to do your job.
Yeah.
He's coming in with the ski mask on, man.
Oh God, here you go.
I mean, of course he was.
Nah, but seriously, like the thing about letting the coach go, there's no good time to do it.
No,
especially the way that things are now, right?
Thanksgiving.
The season just ended right before Thanksgiving, and that's why I said what I said last week was, if you're gonna make a decision, you got to do it this week.
Yeah.
And they made the decision last week.
Yeah.
Like I got worried about it on Friday.
Yeah.
So they made the decision.
Is the whole staff gone too?
Not everybody. I don't know who else is left.
They're keeping that O-line coach because he's been
they're gonna keep Mattis. Mattis, the 2 coaches that were on on Washington staff that are still there.
Yeah.
As I'm gonna assume they're gonna keep Ron Mattis and Nate Poole.
Yeah.
I think everybody else might be gone, but those two guys was there when Washington got let go, and they survived. So I believe that that'll be the case. I don't unless Mattis have put offensive linemen in the league.
Yeah, Brandon Parker. Yeah,
Brandon Parker.
Yeah.
So and he should have another one in the league right now, the truth be told. But I think us being as bad as we've been the last 2 years hasn't helped.
Absolutely.
I think there's some kids that went into the portal that might reconsider and come back. So we'll see.
Okay.
Hey, that happened to us when they fired.
Oh man, we lost 6 of them, and we lost 7 and 6 came back. Yeah. And the one that got away is just he signed, and he was like, So
I think right now the key for A&T at this point, they're gonna have to officially announce the new head coach, whether it's Sean Gibbs or somebody else. They need to do it. So then some of these kids can make decisions. Because now the window is already open. They're like the portal's already open as it is, but now they got a window. They get the window now since they're changing coaches.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think the key at this point is we've got to speed up the process. And I will say this about our new Chancellor James R. Martin II. He likes to speed up hiring processes. So I think this will be faster than what we saw last year, 2 years ago with Coach Brown. Because it took a little bit to get Brown through the rickets to get him hired and to get his staff. But it's funny. Ebb says that I feel bad for Gibbs because that's the pressure on his back. But I'm gonna say, man, he knows what he's getting into, man.
Yeah.
He's been on the coaching staff here. He knows what the expectations are gonna be. So I think he's gonna be ready for it if he's the guy.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be ready for it. I'm not too concerned there.
Yeah. Totally agree there.
Yeah,
this had something. Are we going to commercial? I had a thought.
We could do the thought before we go to commercial, unless you want to hold it for after the break.
Just a quick question for Jeff, and I know we got a couple Pirates on there, but have you seen the initial signings today?
You know what, man? I saw a few.
Here's why I think it's good.
Yeah.
Those guys, there's a profile that you recruit at the CAA. And the guys have fit the profile. Like, it took us a couple years to get into the Big South and then step up the recruiting and all that stuff. And it's there.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what you're really going to get until, now you're starting to see year one. But the guys look the part. Yeah. That's always the first part. Yeah. So I think we're in good shape from that standpoint.
All right. I'm going to do a quick break because Brandon's here. I want to go over Tennessee State and Montana before we close.
Oh, man.
We have to go over Tennessee State and Montana. Yeah. So Brandon's here. So when we get back, we're going to have Brandon on the show. We're going to go over Tennessee State, Montana. We're going to close out the show. It's going to be a quick break because we got to get back here really soon. So we'll be right back. This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
At Automasters LLC, our mission is to serve our community by providing quality automobiles at affordable prices. All of our vehicles are inspected and certified to offer you the confidence in knowing you have a quality vehicle. Our goal is to provide you with a seamless process and positive experience for your automobile purchase. Financing recommendations and specific vehicle inquiries are available at your request. You can find us at www.automasters06.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, please feel free to contact Terrence Miles at 601-927-7794.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I know you can't see Brandon, but I guarantee you that he's here. At least I hope he is. Brandon, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. How's it going, my brothers?
Doing all right.
Hey.
I don't want to speed you up, but I'm going to kind of have to speed you up. I know you don't want to keep talking about this game because this was rough sledding for you guys because for some reason you guys forgot that you shouldn't punt to All-American kickers. But talk to us about the game between Tennessee State and Montana, which was a very competitive game, and I thought you guys had plenty of opportunities to get it done.
It was, and kind of as I said in my recap, it was a game of miscues and missed opportunities. I once again, I thought, even when they got down and I thought the game was over, the defense really stepped up in terms of creating turnovers in situations that were advantageous to the offense, where they were able to take advantage of. But every time it seemed like they got it to a one score, when they got that last fumble and they were driving down the field in the high snap, and then you have penalty right after that, and it just absolutely killed the drive. And then, like you said, when you you kick to an All-American, these types of things can happen, which you would think we would be plainly aware of because we have CJ Evans on our side, and we saw teams toward the latter part of the season try not to kick towards him, but kick coverage, and we've talked about it on this show earlier, kick coverage has been a problem since the Gardner-Webb game, and they didn't plug up those holes, and it ultimately ended up costing them potentially a chance to move on in the playoffs. So tough way to end the season, but overall, you go 9-4, you win a share of the conference. So it's a disappointing end to the season, but there's a lot of positives to build on as we go into 2024-25. See, I didn't take too long.
No, you did good. Now, you guys had a phenomenal season, man. I wanted y'all to win so I could force the debate of who's the HBCU National Black College Champions. But, and because it would have made it fascinating then, because I think it would have been kind of difficult not to have you guys in consideration for that. But overall, you had a phenomenal season. I would have you guys at 2. I think you guys should end up at 2, regardless of what happens with regards to the Celebration Bowl. That's just my opinion on the matter, because I feel like your out-of-conference schedule matters and things of that sort, and that's just how I feel about it. Y'all had your opportunity to beat Montana. It was a rough one to watch. I stayed up, and I guess 263,000 people stayed up to watch that game as well. Had a pretty good number considering how late that game was.
Yeah, it was. And said it didn't disappoint, but like I said, I think when you look back on it, they'll be able to see a lot of things that opportunities that they let slip through their fingers in terms of penalties at the most inopportune times. And hold on, while we're on it, let me say this to those of you on Twitter or X or whatever you call it. Y'all were tweeting at the offensive lineman who kept getting. Please stop it and go get some help.
They're tweeting the players?
Yes.
You can't do that, man.
Yes, they were doing that. I saw some screenshots in a thread that I'm in, and people were tweeting at the play. The same thing that they were kind of doing to the Jackson State tight end after the Celebration Bowl.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, we're losers.
We gotta do better.
Yes.
We gotta do better on that regard. Any thoughts on the game, Jeff and Reek?
Right, you on mute, Jeff.
You're on mute.
My bad. So I didn't even know that. So I would just say like this, just from watching the game, it just kind of seemed that I'm not going to say Montana was in a different class, but you saw the limitations. I definitely think that they got something to build on with Tennessee State. Now, my question is, will Eddie remain at Tennessee State?
Yes.
Okay.
The word on the street is he was offered a Kennesaw State job first, and he declined it.
Stop. I wouldn't take Kennesaw State.
No. But the thing is, he lives in Nashville. His family's there.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm sorry to jump in that I had saw an article on Clutch Points that had linked him to the running back job in Ohio State.
Don't do that.
No, he's a head coach.
He's a head coach.
He turned that down allegedly.
Yeah. He might have.
In this article.
I mean, if he wants to be a head coach, though, that's what it like, because that's what Willie Simmons did the same thing, right? Willie Simmons took the running backs coach job at Duke. So did Jerry Mack when he took the running back job at Tennessee after he left the school down the road. So I mean, there's that path if you want to be a head coach in the FBS program. Because I think there's some folks are saying that Willie Simmons is a potential candidate for the FIU job, which would be interesting. But
my only thought about this game is I think it was going out to Montana is like almost impossible at this time. So it would have been a miracle to get that win. I just hate that they lost the way they lost.
Yeah.
I hate when you lose because of miscues. Like if you just get run over or you out executed, bigger, fast, I get that. But just the miscues, maybe that has something to do with it. But we've seen that so many times, like penalties, special teams, losing that way I just hate to lose like that. But you just got to get deeper. You got to get some more guys and get deeper, and hopefully they got some muscle memory. But I just hate the way they lost. But it was a good season.
Absolutely.
All right, so before we close out the show, we have to do our picks for the SWAC championship. We got the SWAC championship this weekend. We got to talk about the winner of this game goes to the Celebration Bowl. We're getting the second iteration of the Boombox Classic this weekend. So who you got, man? Jackson State or Southern? I'm assuming Jackson State are the favorites. If I had to guess on the Vegas line, they're probably the double-digit favorites. Yeah. So Jackson State or Southern? Who you got, Jeff?
I'm gonna go with Jackson State. I watched the Bayou Classic. Southern has good pieces, but I just don't think that they'll probably be able to play with Jackson for maybe a quarter and a half. Then Jackson all the way. Jackson by 2 scores.
All right, what you got, Reek?
Jackson State.
Easily, yeah. What about you, Brandon? How you feeling? Jackson State or Southern?
I got J State. I mean, they're playing lights out on defense.
Yeah,
they got it rolling on offense, and I know Southern has found so many ways to win games this season, but that is going to run out, man. I'm not going to say J State by 40, but probably by 20.
I'm picking Jackson State, but I think they're going to cover. I think Southern will cover the spread.
Yeah,
whatever that spread is. I'm taking Jackson. So we're gonna get Jackson versus South Carolina State, a rematch of the Celebration Bowl from 2021. So that'll be interesting to see if that comes to fruition. I would love to see Southern get there though, only because Southern is the type of program that should have already been there.
Yeah.
Like, so, but I just think Jackson State's going to be too much.
Yeah.
But I think Southern's going to fight, and because that's one thing that they've done all season. And I don't think this is the same Southern team they played earlier in this year, but also it's not the same Jackson State's team. Robert Mulligan didn't play the first game when they played each other, so it's going to be interesting to watch. So we need to close out the show. I want to talk about the banner of the year for 30 seconds. Shout out to A&T and FAMU on the Division I side. It looks like they're going to be the ones that are going to be competing the day before the Celebration Bowl. I know a lot of folks weren't too thrilled with the choices, but I'm not the judge. I don't make the selections. So don't blame me. But all right, so let's close out the show. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. We look forward next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Go to Brandon King at sneakershoptalk.com and check his stuff out. He got some phenomenal articles there. Make sure you follow Dr. Kiana Cavil on Twitter as well. Follow the channels for Dr. Cavil Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're pretty much everywhere with regards to that. And let's see, Brandon.
Of course.
She said it too. Reek.
Message.
Lecture.
Close.
And Jeff.
Dismissed.
All right.
Got it right, kinda.
Look, man, even the baby got it right.
That's right.
Can't be mad at that one bit. Good night, everybody. You guys have a phenomenal week.
You too. Thank you.
Peace.